Welcome to physics class, and we will start our second equation of motion. Newton formulated three equations, of which now we will be looking into the second law of motion. Let us first look at some of the examples from daily life. As you can see on the screen, some examples. The first one, a person shooting the other person with a small bullet that comes out of the gun forcefully makes the other person to fall down, or he dies also. In the second picture, you can see a truck and a car colliding with each other. They are moving in the opposite direction and they collide. There is no harm for the truck, whereas the car is shattered. In the third picture that you can see, it is the seesaw, wherein the kittens are moving up and down depending on their push that they are giving on the ground. Also, it depends on the mass of the two sitting on the two sides of the seesaw. What do you understand from these examples? Yes, it is actually the mass and the velocity that is giving the impact on the situations. If you consider the first one, the gun and the bullet is very small in mass, but the velocity is very high, that gives so much of impact on the person that it pierces through the other person. Similarly, the two objects, that is the car and the truck, when they hit each other, the car is small, but still both are moving at the same velocity, but still you can see the truck is not at all affected and the car is shattered. And so these examples, they tell you the impact that is produced on the object. So impact produced by the objects depend on their mass and velocity, and a greater force is required to give a greater velocity. So that means there exists some relation between the mass and velocity. We shall see what is the relation between the two. Newton gave the relation between the two and the name for that relation as momentum. So momentum was the property introduced by Newton that combined the object's mass with its velocity and defined momentum as the momentum of the object is the product of the mass and its velocity. So if you represent momentum with small letter p, the mass with small letter m, and velocity with small letter v, we say that momentum p is equal to mass into velocity, that is p is equal to m into v. Considering the unit of mass as kg and velocity meter per second, we know that momentum p is equal to mv will give kg meter per second, which is now the unit of momentum. And since velocity is a vector quantity, momentum is product of a vector quantity, and so we say that momentum is a vector quantity. Here kg is a scalar quantity, but you are multiplying with a vector quantity which is velocity, and so the product becomes the vector quantity. With the new term momentum, Newton formulated the second law of motion, saying that the rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the applied unbalanced force in the direction of the force. That is, when force is applied on the object, and if it is an unbalanced force, then there will be a change in momentum at a particular time, and they are proportionate. If you represent momentum, initial momentum as mu and final momentum as mv. Here u is the initial velocity and v is the final velocity, and so initial momentum becomes mu and final momentum becomes mv. And if this change happens in t seconds, then we say that force is proportional to mv minus mu by t. That is rate of change of momentum. That is change of momentum divided by time. Now we shall see how to formulate the second law of motion. Suppose an object of mass m is moving along a straight line by the application of constant force F. That is, you are making an object to move. The mass of the object is m and it is moving in a straight line due to the application of the constant force F acting on it. Then the initial velocity of that particular mass of the object will be u and final velocity will be v. And so let the initial momentum be p1 and the final momentum be p2. Now if there is a change in the movement of this particular mass of object in particular time t, then we can derive an equation for the second law of motion. Let us see how. Now as per the second law of motion, the change in momentum, that is p2 minus p1, they are proportionate. And so if p2 is mv and p1 is mu, we say that p2 minus p1 will be mv minus mu. Taking the mass m, which is common in both, so it becomes m into v minus u. Now the second law says that force applied is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. So rate of change of momentum, when we say, it is actually change in momentum by time, which is proportional to f. And so we get f is proportional to m into v minus u by t. As in previous cases also, if there is a proportionality symbol, we cannot solve any problem. We need a exact equation. So we need to remove this proportionality symbol and make it as equal to symbol. And so we need to introduce here a constant, and the constant here is k. And so it becomes k into m into v minus u by t. Now again recalling back, v minus u by t is acceleration, and so it becomes k into m into a. So force is equal to kma becomes the formula. Suppose you have 1 unit of force, then you can write it as 1 unit of force is equal to k into mass as 1 kg and acceleration as 1 meter per second square. So from this you will get the value of k as 1. And so the previous equation where we spoke about f is equal to kma now becomes as f is equal to ma, where k is equal to 1. So from this, the unit of force is actually Newton, but it is mass into acceleration, that is kg into meter per second square, and k is called the constant of proportionality. Now keeping this in mind, we have the mathematical statement of first law of motion. We actually wrote f is equal to ma, or f is equal to m into v minus u by t. So bringing that t, which is on the right hand side, to the left hand side, when you bring, it becomes ft, that is equal to mv minus mu. And so if there is no change in velocity, okay, if there is no change in velocity, or when we say that there is no force, then there will not be any change in velocity. So in both the cases, v will be equal to u. And for that time t, if it happens, then ft will be equal to 0. Okay, moving on to the third law of motion. We all know it very well. Yes, it is. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is, you can see there a cannon and a fire of ball. As the fire of ball moves towards right, the cannon moves towards the left. The person using the gun, if you see on the right side of the screen, the gun moves backward and the bullet moves forward. So the action is moving forward, then the reaction is the backward movement of the device. Okay, so with this, the third law of motion we have done, and let us revise back the three laws of motion. The first one is an object at rest or in uniform motion will remain at rest or in uniform motion unless an unbalanced force acts on it. That is, if you want an object to move, if you want an object to come out of its inertia, you have to apply an unbalanced force. And if an object is moving in unbalanced force, it will keep on continuing unless and until it is disturbed. The second law says force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. And the third law, the universal law, again, every action has equal and opposite reaction. With this, we are done with the laws of motion. We shall see with another topic in our next video. Till then, bye.